Everything Film is supported by Vancouver Young Actors School, the elite training program for young pro actors in Canada. Their team of pros offers the most advanced training for young actors. You can go online, VancouverYoungActorsSchool.com, at VY Actors School on Instagram now with 2 locations, Vancouver near Olympic Village and Fremont Village in Poco. Season 2, Episode 9 of Everything Film, presented by Agency Click. Joe Leary along with Patrick Shelton. And we're joined by a guy that does talking. He talks for a living, and he does what we're doing here, only in a more intimate environment, in a Gucci bathrobe. Is it Gucci or Versace?
It's Versace.
Versace. Okay,
Yep.
sorry.
That's okay.
A Versace bathrobe and box wine.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start doing that? David Oulton is our guest, by the way. Welcome.
Thank you.
Where did that idea germinate?
I wanted a Versace bathrobe, and we had a bit of a budget, so that's why that's how the box wine came about, because I blew the budget on the bathrobe and couldn't afford anything else.
Were you throwing bids out there? Maybe it is a Gucci, maybe it's a Polo Ralph Lauren. It had to be Versace.
We definitely did not get sponsored, so
Okay.
yeah, I just went shopping. Yeah.
And again, I mean, it's kind of a cool concept. So the box wine, is that a prerequisite? It has to be box?
No, we just couldn't afford to get anything nicer.
Oh,
I spent
okay.
all the money on the bathrobe.
So you're literally working on nickels and dimes, and
Yep.
you decided this is the easiest way to get the project launched. It's
Yep.
called Face to Face with David, and I was watching through some of the episodes. It's pretty cool. The only thing that I find, and we've done this show now, well, episode 9, season 2, the only thing I find is that it's kind of hard to establish, I mean, COVID hooped everybody, kind of hard to establish a connection sometime unless you're in the same realm, in the same vicinity. Have you had any challenges with that respect?
There's been some people that are, duds, but for the most part, I mean, we don't film it live to tape. We talk for a little bit ahead of time, and then we do the interview, and then we edit it down and take the best. So even though the interview itself might only be 12, 15 minutes on television, we might talk for an hour to get the best parts of that.
Let's just go back a little bit, because we're jumping the gun here.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you talk about this. Give us the Cole's Notes, the version. What is it? What is your show?
Talk show, Face to Face with David. So I sit, like you said, in a Versace bathrobe, drink cheap wine, and just interview interesting people. The 2 criteria are interesting for the audience and interested in coming on and speaking and talking about something. And it's a little bit different because you're not promoting my movie's out next week or this, because we tape it in advance and then it airs and it repeats so many times. We're really fortunate about that. Or with that. So it's a little bit more evergreen, a little bit more, top view down, like advice, lessons learned, things like that.
So where is it on? Like, is it YouTube? Is it like you grew it from
where does the show air?
Yeah, like did you grow it? Did you grow it, or
no?
did
We
you sell
started
it? You sold
with
it.
Amazon Prime, so it was an Amazon show.
So how did you
initially.
do that?
That was really weird. So all I wanted to do was an Instagram live thing. Like, remember when COVID started and everybody and their mother was doing Instagram lives? That's all I wanted to do.
Okay.
And then I talked to a friend who had just finished an Amazon show, and he said, well, talk to this person at Amazon, see if they maybe want to get involved. So, right, they're not. But and then sure, they said yes. So we filmed in my living room. There's no studio space. Nothing was open. So we filmed in my living room the first season. And then it just kind of snowballed into this thing, and now we're on like 25 networks in
That is insane.
a dozen countries.
And I'm gonna just bring you back. Okay, so like you could. All right, I'm in my bathrobe, and Amazon Prime is now interested.
Yeah.
So on that day, were you like doing a happy dance? Was that like wow, or was it like expected, or you knew you had something?
It was. I had no idea how big. I thought this is going to be a really easy little project. Kill some time during COVID, make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And then that would be it. But yeah, it was overwhelming because we built it backwards. So it's like Amazon said, yes, sure. If you can pull this off,
right.
You've got it. So then it's like, okay, well, now where do we film? Who's going to do it? I don't know how to make a television show. Who are they get? So we kind of built the car as we were driving off the cliff, and it worked out.
That's amazing, because I think that's like a one-in-a-lifetime situation in a weird way, because people dream of that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of people, content creators. So like that's pretty impressive when you think of it. Like, so there must have been a show or one thing that the Amazon guys, like a demo reel or something that they looked at. And what do you think it is that you showed them?
You know, I have no idea what the actual. It would be impossible to replicate how it went, because I mean, I'd followed a guy on Instagram, and he had followed me back, called Carson Kressley. He's a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race. So we had chatted a lot on Instagram.
Right.
So I just said, hey, randomly, I have this thing. Would you want to come on? And he said, yes, sure. So he was the first guest on the first episode, and just by for whatever reason, Amazon categorized it in the show in a certain category, and he was the first guest. So when RuPaul's Drag Race would stream on Amazon, and then Face to Face came out on Amazon in the States, we would come up as the suggested show after RuPaul's Drag Race.
Okay.
So I think that gave us and I don't know how their algorithm
It was probably that
works.
traction, yeah.
Yeah, and that helped with it. And then we started trending, and then the ratings were good, and then traditional TV networks started picking it up, and now it's like I checked to the hotel this morning just because I'm pretentious, and in the next 14 days we air 209 times in Canada in the next 14 days on
that is incredible.
TV.
Congratulations. You know what?
no,
that's
that's-
an accomplishment.
wow.
It really is, right?
Oh wait, yeah, they didn't clap when I came in.
No,
they
but
clap
you're-
at the end. They only applaud at the end. So when it came time to casting a net in terms of who you want to get on the show, obviously when you go after people for interviews, and I've done gazillions of years of radio interviews, I find the two things, it's much easier to establish rapport when you're across the table or at least in the same general vicinity. And the other thing is that sometimes, context doesn't translate well because you can't, if I'm trying to be sarcastic, you can't see my facial expression. So have you had any blowback? Have you had reluctance from people that just don't really dig the concept or are unsure of the concept more importantly?
Not necessarily. I mean, initially, yes. I mean, we in that very first season of the 6 episodes we did when we were still filming in my house, I think we sent out like 600 media requests to people, and we had 14 people or 17 people say yes. So it was very, and now we're kind of at the point where it's a combination of we'll ask someone, most of the time now they say yes, and then we get a lot of people coming to us asking if they can be on because they've come across it from something or their manager or something, so now we're really fortunate with it, but we've been pretty lucky so far with being able to book people and having no issues with it. So, yeah.
Have you? You obviously must have your wish list.
I do.
Have you been able to tick any off? And in terms of tick off the names that have been on the show, or more importantly, who tops your list? Who's the hardest get? Who's going to be the toughest get for your program?
All right, I'll tell you. So there's this woman named Kate Mulgrew. She's an actress.
Yep.
She was on Star Trek Voyager, Orange is the New. I was a huge sci-fi nerd growing up, Trekkie. I watched it all the time, and I like her a lot. And I've offered, we don't pay any guests that come on the show. I've offered money. I've bribed. I've been like, listen, we film at a nice resort. I can get you however long you want to stay at the resort. I beg every single time. Never interested. So, yeah, she would be the top one.
So what I always found, though, is a lot of times people have people. Mm-hmm. And, you might be in Earl's or you might be in some public location. Sitting across the table is so-and-so, and you go over and explain who you are and what you do. Mm-hmm. That person that you're going after might be extremely interested. Yeah. Then they throw it to, well, talk to my folks. Yeah. And the folks then just shut it down. That's always been the biggest concern I've ever had, is that if you get to the celebrity directly, more times than not, they'll probably go, yeah, sounds fun, let's do it.
That did happen. I tried to, in our very first season, I was trying to get Perez Hilton. I thought he'd be really interesting. And never any answer, no answer. So I just sent him a message on Instagram. And within seconds, he's like, this sounds interesting, sure. And he ended up being probably he definitely is one of my top 5 interviews. So,
right.
Yeah, it was just.
Well, I always find, even with our show and what we do, is there's what's a better term? It's momentum, right? And one of the things about momentum is momentum also takes time. And it's not like, I want to have this by next Thursday. We've been doing this 2 years, right? And we're getting momentum.
Season
after
2,
2 years.
Episode 9.
The point I'm making is, the point I'm making, haven't you felt that? It's like all of a sudden you look back and you go, I've been doing this for a while. You know what I mean? And you go all of a sudden 2 years goes by or time goes by.
It kind of creeps up on you.
And you wanted it faster.
Yeah.
But I kind of give that advice to young people and everything, starting out and acting, everything. It does take time. You just can't get the best guests and everything in
it's slow
5 minutes
rolls.
notice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's slow. And I was so desperate when we first started. I was so dumb. We need it on the TV. And I was like, Leslie, we need media. We need news. We need press. We need this. We need
and we're the same way with Leslie.
And now it's
this, right?
And now it's when I flew out here on last week, I'm walking through the airport, and they have where they have all the screens through the airport and the lounges and stuff like that. And I'm walking out, and it was every 4th screen had Face to Face with David on it in the airport the other day.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
incredible.
holy shit.
And
Can I swear on
full
this?
disclosure, we have no budget. We did not fly you out here for the show. You just happened to be here, correct?
Correct.
Well, are we
yes.
paying for this? No? No, okay. Okay.
Emmanuel is. I know she's not getting paid, but can I say that I am? I don't know.
So again, the other thing that's really important, David, is that, guests have commonalities, they have common interests, common publicists, whatever, and they all talk. So if you do a good service to somebody, they will pass that information forward. Conversely, if they have a horrible time with you, they also will pass that information. But this is how you build, maybe your word momentum, because obviously the thing gets bigger and better. And it's such a cool concept.
There have been people that have come on and they said afterwards, the only reason I did this is because so and so from your last season said it was fun or said it was good or whatever.
So you still don't have Versace coughing up some dough yet?
No,
not yet. And you don't have a wine sponsor yet?
Don't have a wine sponsor. We don't really get. We kind of just coast under the radar, I think, which is interesting. The show does well. It airs. The ratings are good. The reviews are good. It's on an obnoxious amount on television, but we kind of just coast, which is nice, and do our own thing.
So what type of guy are you? And I'm trying to read you a little bit, David. Are you
I'm
a
horrible.
bling? Are you a bling guy? Like, I see this watch, and I mean, I can't. Like, I'm looking at you, and I'm going, and you got Versace going on. Like, you go back to your closet. Tell me what's in it.
Combination of everything, like everything from like H&M all the way up to Valentino, and you name it. It just depends. But I mean, I'm lazy and I don't care, and it's all because people just want to see something different, and it's
So is it show or like do you mind spending $4,000 on a bathrobe?
Do I mind? I definitely certainly mind. Yes, of course I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
You get what I'm saying though? Like,
the only reason I wanted sorry to cut you off. The only reason I wanted the robe and then the box wine was because I remember like studying acting when I was little, and we did this exercise where you would mute the television and watch your tape back, and it had to be visually appealing. So then I thought, okay, well, if someone's flipping through television channels and they see some idiot in a Versace bathrobe drinking boxed wine, maybe and a celebrity on the screen with them as well, maybe hopefully they'll stop the channel and watch it. That was the business reason behind that.
Well, I'll tell you my story of box wine.
Okay.
My parents all parents used to have this. They'd have the box wine with the little tap. I don't know if everybody remembers
yes,
that.
of
And it was
course.
in the fridge. And I remember this to this day, that my parents, and it was like Gallo or Union Gallo, or it was like one of the cheaper ones. And the wine was like $19.99. The problem is it was like $19.89 when the wine was in there. So like they were preparing for the future, apparently. Like sort of like cars, right? Like the car came out before the year happened, and I'm going, okay, that's a good vintage. That's my parents, so
Yeah, I don't really know much about wine other than that it's good. I drink a lot of it.
Yeah,
a box of wine.
It comes out of here and it goes in here. That's all you need to
as
know
long
about
as
wine.
that little spout works. Yeah.
How do people follow you on social media?
At David Oulton.
At David Oulton. It's called
Yep.
Face to Face with David. Pleasure to meet you, man. Congrats.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Next time you come on back on the show, let's see if we can hook up some Versace bathrobes.
Or like-
did
or
I
even
just
like
get
the
an
box
invite
wine.
back?
Yeah, you got an invite back.
You have to bring a
But
box.
Emmanuel Vaucher did not. I just want to clarify that.
But a box of wine would go a
Box of
long
wine.
way. A box of wine.
David Oulton, ladies and gentlemen. David
Thank
Oulton.
you.
Cheers.
Thanks, David.
Thanks.